and welcome to KC360's podcast on navigating college admissions. I'm Christy, your host, and during our time together, we'll cover college admission tips and tricks to help your college search be a success. Shelly is here from Erasmus, a fantastic option in the Netherlands, and we're going to talk a little bit about liberal arts in the Netherlands and also a little bit maybe broader in Europe, but just some tips for you if you're considering studying in the Netherlands at a place like Erasmus and what that experience would look like. Shelly, welcome.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Tell us a little bit about you and how you have arrived at this place, and then also a little bit about Erasmus.
Okay. So my name is Shelly. I work at Erasmus University College. That's the Liberal Arts and Sciences College within the bigger research university of Erasmus University Rotterdam. We're located in the Netherlands in Rotterdam. And yeah, how I arrived here. It's funny because it's only been 3.5 years since I'm doing this job. Before I worked in HR, and now I'm doing student recruitment, which is recruitment, but it's something very different.
Well, I know you guys participated in the virtual college fair and the presentation was spectacular, and I'll make sure we link that below in the show notes for this episode so that students can kind of get a better idea of Erasmus. Today, we're talking a little bit about liberal arts in Europe and in the Netherlands. Talk a little bit about what that experience looks like, what that type of programming looks like in case students just are not sure at all.
Yeah, so if we look at liberal arts and sciences in Europe, it's a fairly unique model. But in the Netherlands, it really comes to life through university colleges like Erasmus University, which is connected to a research university. So I think liberal arts has been growing in Europe in the past 20 to 25 years, and it's seen a significant trend in higher education because it's driven by the need for a more flexible and interdisciplinary bachelor programs. And I think the Netherlands is leading the way here with a full system of university colleges. Currently, we have 8 university colleges spread out through the Netherlands. And what makes the Netherlands especially attractive is that it's very international. It's very easy to settle in here. Almost everyone speaks English in the Netherlands. The tuition fee and the living costs are relatively accessible, and the country is really small, but it's incredibly international. You will meet people from all over the world, exchange ideas, and even after graduation, you can stay on an orientation year visa, which makes it possible for you to find a job in the Netherlands after you finished your studies. So it's really interesting not only to study here, but also to maybe create a life here afterwards.
That's amazing. I know for the West, liberal arts typically means very holistic in the sense of, you focus on your major, but then you also focus on other subjects like, history and communications and just really growth, personal speaking, that kind of thing. Is that sort of the context of liberal arts, generally speaking, where it just looks at more than your major and sort of the whole person? Is that the experience as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So within the Netherlands, university colleges are quite unique. They're small, they're always English taught, and they're part of a bigger research university. And you don't just choose one subject from the start like you would with other programs. Students really build their curriculum across disciplines. So it's really about exploring first and then specializing a bit later, if you would like that, through a master's. And at our university college, it really comes to life. What we see is that for us, we work with a major system. So while you have you choose a major in your second year, let's say you choose business is one of them, for instance, then you can combine it with anything else. Psychology, maybe history, maybe something else. I see at other university colleges in the Netherlands that they're even more flexible. So they're completely open. They don't choose a specific major, but you can just pick and choose what you want to do. But at Erasmus, we're flexible with a little bit of a path to give you, let's say. And what
Like
is
one
really
big
nice,
highway with many lanes.
exactly, yeah. And what's really nice, I can give you an example. What's very popular at our university college is our English taught pre-med track. It's unique because in the Netherlands there are not a lot of options to study medicine in English. It's always in Dutch. So we have a pre-med track, and there's two routes. So you have a Dutch route leading into becoming a medical doctor in Europe through our Erasmus Medical Center. And then there's the English route with multiple partners leading into becoming a medical doctor in North America. So there's two options there. And of course, you have a major in medicine, but you can combine it with, again, history, philosophy, whatever you would like. So, yeah.
I think flexibility is something students are really reaching for these days. So that type of program and infrastructure is really important for them. So if a student is interested in applying, talk a little bit about application tips for the Netherlands, just things maybe to look out for in general. I know there's probably some specific things to Erasmus for you guys, but just give, students an idea of things to be mindful of.
Yeah. So when it comes to applying in the Netherlands, there's a couple of things you need to be aware of. We have different kinds of programs. So you have a regular program you can apply to, then you have selective programs you can apply to, and you have numerous fixes programs you can apply to. Selective programs are programs, as the word says it, that select students based on if there's a right fit, usually. And numerous fixes programs are programs that had a cap, so limited spots availability with very long waiting lists usually. Numerous fixes programs are medicine, psychology, economics, business. Those are all numerous fixes because they're very popular. Selective are the university colleges, but also, for instance, art schools. Those are usually also selective because they want to see your portfolio, or if it's a music school, um, yeah, to see if you can play an instrument, for instance. Then there's a national application platform for universities in the Netherlands that's called StudyLink. And if you apply to any university, any program, it all goes through StudyLink. So it's very important that you know that. You always have to go through that platform. It's a bit like, what's it called again in the United States?
Well,
Um,
the UK has the UCAS system, which is the whole country, and then the US has Common App, but it's not all universities. But it would be a similar where, a lot of universities are on the Common
yeah,
App. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Great.
So we have StudyLink. From there, you just submit your documents, and if you're shortlisted, in our case, you'll be invited for an online interview. Um, but it really depends. I always emphasize, please look at not just the university you're applying to, but also the program. Because even within our university, if you apply to economics or if you apply to the university college, it could look different. They could ask for different requirements. They could have a different procedure. So it's really important to really check per university and per program.
I think that's important for students to know because I think for anytime you're looking at a university and you're curious, do they need this amount of AP or IB? Are there things that I need to do? And what your wisdom is saying, check per university and see. Is there, this wasn't on our list to cover, but is there an opportunity for students to kind of talk to someone about specific programs to have an idea if it's a better fit for them? If they're comparing one program to the other, because there's so many unique things about each program, it sounds like, understanding which one might be the better fit. Is there an opportunity for them to do that? How would they do that?
Do you mean at a university level or at a university level? Hmm.
Or college
If
level?
Yeah, if I speak for my own university, I would say you can always reach out to our service desk and ask some questions there. Yeah, and if you have someone like me who is a student recruiter, you see them somewhere at a school fair or or somewhere else, ask them, because they would know the right program for you. That would be the way to go, I think. Yeah.
Okay. And you mentioned part of the application process is an interview, and I think part of it also is a motivation letter. And as most students maybe know or don't know, that motivation letter can be similar to like the personal statement or the essay, but understanding what the purpose of the motivation letter is really important. Can you talk to students about why a university or a college would have that, what it means, what it's for, the context of it?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's very important in the process, especially for us, because we are a selective program, like I just explained. We want to know if you are the right fit for our university. So it's important to know who you are. Um, so the motivation letter is where we get to know you beyond your grades. Like I said, we want to know who you are, what drives you, how you would fit into our community at EUC. Um, that could come from all kinds of experiences. You could be a coach of a sports team. You could have a part time job. You could be a volunteer. You could even maybe care for a family member. And all of that tells us something about who you are, your initiative, your responsibility, and your perspective. So, my advice, if you write a motivation letter, is be personal, be reflective, help us understand who you are and what you could bring into the community.
Does it have prompts that students answer? Is it something that they just make up on their own? And then one other question, should they focus any part of why they want to major in something specific, or is it should they just focus kind of, as you said, only reflective growth, maturity?
Yeah, so for us, we have on our webpage at the admission page, we have everything explained, and there are also prompts there. So I believe it's 2 questions that they would have to answer that relate to what I just said, basically. Um, it's not necessary to say what you major in, because within liberal arts, especially at EUC here, the first year is still very flexible and open. From the second year onwards, you're choosing your major. So you have some time in the first year. So it's not necessary. But from the second year onwards, you will choose a major. And if you already have ideas about that for your future or the person you would like to become, and that's interesting for our admissions team to see, then I would say, yeah, add that in. But it's not necessary.
Good, good. That's helpful. I know every country manages the personal side of the application so differently, and so it's important for students to understand the context of it. Another piece students are always curious about, of course, is accommodation. Where do I live? How does that work? What happens? And then scholarship and financial aid. But let's cover the accommodation first. How do I figure out where I'm going to live? What's the process for that? Speak a little bit about that.
Yeah. So many people already know this, but as in many places, the Netherlands also has a housing crisis. So that doesn't make it easier for students to find a house. The nice thing about university colleges in the Netherlands is, however, that most of them have housing guaranteed or housing available for you. So it would either be first year, maybe all 3 years. That depends per college, but most of them have that arranged. So that's already a plus if you're an international student, because it's very helpful. You can very easily settle into the community and start your studies. For us at Erasmus University College, we have first year guaranteed housing. So in the first year, you're set. But from the second year, you're going to have to face that issue with the housing crisis. Um, we see that it does make it a lot easier if you're already living there. You already know the city, you've met students, you know third years who are moving out of their house because of graduation. So there's a network you've built, which makes it easier. It's not saying it's easy, it's still difficult, but it does help. If you start early enough, you will find something. Doing it together with other students as well will help you a lot. And of course, the university has support services, but ultimately you will be responsible to finding your own place. So yeah, the first year you're set. After that, you will have to find something on your own.
That's good. And that's a good young adult progress and progression into maturity that we have the ability to make those decisions on our own and look at them. So that's exciting.
Yeah.
And what about financial aid? I know the fees are a lot less, and so that automatically in some ways is beneficial. But if I'm a student, I'm interested in maybe some additional aid, is that a possibility? How does that process work?
Yeah, it is possible for sure. I know there's national options as well as options within the universities themselves. It's true that we are already a lot cheaper, let's say, than other places. So it is limited. Let's just want to be upfront about that. So if you look at our own university, for instance, we it's always merit based. So it's not based on how well you've performed, but it's merit based. And usually it's around 50% of the tuition fee that we would take off. That's one of the things that would help. You can combine it, however, with the national one that's available as well. I don't know the details about that. You would have to look that up, but I know there's options there as well, as I've talked to international students about it. Um, yeah, so there isn't a large scholarship system, um, but yeah, it's I think it's manageable for international students.
One of the benefits that I see about so many universities in Europe is that the fees are so reasonable, a scholarship system isn't really necessary. And I think that's one of the benefits of the Netherlands for sure, and Erasmus, but just in general, I really appreciate the mindset that we don't have to look for a lot of scholarship because it's not needed as much to the extent that it is in some other places in the West. So that's a great opportunity for students. Is there anything I know we've asked a lot of questions that you probably get asked really frequently that students are asking, but are there questions or things that you wish students would ask so that you could tell them about Erasmus or university college experiences in general?
Mm, I think. Well, I think what makes our university very unique and interesting is the location, because it's really in a nice place. It's in the heart of Rotterdam, and from Rotterdam you can reach so many places within Europe. You could fly in an hour to the UK. You could take a train to Paris in 3 hours. It's really close. It's a really nice place to study. It's a nice place to live. So I think that is an important thing. And when it comes to us as a university college, we have I think our biggest asset is our campus, which is right in the heart of the city. And what is nice about it is that our students live there and that they also connect with the city. So the interdisciplinary part and the small scale classes that we offer, a lot of projects take place within the city as well. So students volunteer with refugees there, for instance, or help out in churches, or bring. I've seen them bring flowers to the elderly homes, these kinds of things. And I think also that is part of a liberal arts education, to be involved with the community and with each other. And I think that is one of the questions. It's usually about the academics part of things, but what I think is important within a liberal arts education is that you not only grow academically, but you also grow as a person. And you do that through these kinds of initiatives. So I think that's also important to mention. Yeah.
I've only been really impressed with everything you guys are doing, and it's one of the reasons why I wanted to have an episode specifically about liberal arts and university colleges because they are a unique opportunity. There may be some similarities in other places, but just the system itself is really built for students of this era, I believe, especially ones that are not sure, since five, I want to be a doctor, and a lot of students feel that way. They're not sure, and they need sort of that year to really establish and learn and get to know themselves. Thank you for your fabulous work. We'll make sure we have links for everything in the show notes, and I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
A question I am asked daily is, how do I get scholarships? In response to this critical question, I've created the Scholarship Secrets course. Learn how to get scholarships in around a day through this course by learning the system, understanding the collegiate scholarship and financial aid system, the secrets to finding scholarships just for you, and the strategy, implementing ways to successfully apply and get scholarship. Join me today for this self-paced course that helps you understand how to fund your college dreams.